and we've healed each other.
Well, I would say I went to therapy for years before I met you.
Right.
I would say I was pretty much healed before I met you. Um, I wouldn't say we healed each other. We helped each other grow.
Sure. Well, yeah, I could see that.
We
I feel
helped
like
each
you
other,
healed me in a sense
and I
and
was a
gave
little
me
older
some
than you because I
satisfaction.
mean, when we met, you were still in your 20s, and I was in my early 30s, but early to mid 30s. But I feel like I was more healed than you were at that point, and you know, we dated for a while. We didn't rush into anything because we had both been through some traumatic relationships. And they were hard on both of us, mentally and physically.
But when we first got together, we both reverted back to those unhealthy boundaries that we had had in our previous relationships.
Right.
And although we never fought, we kept we kept it inside, and it became to the point that I was like, "Oh my god, he's so clingy." Oh, because I had a ex-spouse that never wanted to be around me, that didn't love me, that didn't dote on me, that never brought me flowers, that never treated me with respect or treated me like a princess. And then here you come doing all the opposite things. I thought you were crazy. But again, that's a healthy relationship. You were bringing those things to me, and I'm sure I was doing some things to you that you were keeping inside. And we finally had to have a moment of sit down and be like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I like to do. We're not going to change each other. So, how can we move forward with this? And one thing that you told me was, I love jujitsu. Please don't ever change that about me. And that's one premise that we've created together is whatever you love to do, you can do it.
You can do it with a boundary, and I did tell you that. I said, I go to jiu-jitsu anywhere from 3 to 5, 6 times a week. And I would appreciate it if you didn't cross my boundary and tell me I'm going too much or, but at the same time, I'm not going, I'm not taking away time from our relationship. I'm not, we're still spending time together. We still at least 2, 3 nights a week hanging out, having dinner, spending one-on-one time together, even though we go to jiu-jitsu. So you can make time for your relationship and you can make time for your hobbies in a respectful way. Now, I'm not telling you to go and and tell your spouse that, hey, I'm going to go play poker till 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to be shit-faced when I come home. That's not a healthy hobby. That's not a healthy thing to do in a relationship, in a marriage, in a partnership. So, be mindful of your hobby and whatever it is. If you like playing cards, go play cards. If you like doing jiu-jitsu, go do jiu-jitsu. If you like lifting weights, go lift weights. You've known me for 7 years. I've had different hobbies over the past 7 years until I finally landed on one that I stuck with and I've been doing it. I was riding bikes 2, 3 times a week.
We did striking together, which is like boxing.
Striking together for almost 2 years. I was flying airplanes for like 6 months when we first met. There's different things that I've done over the years, but what I'm trying to say is find what makes you happy as a person. Once you find what makes you happy as a person, even if it's like Jet likes to get up and read books. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and bother her while she's reading. That's what she enjoys. That's what she likes to do. Hey, if you want to be left alone on a Sunday when we have time to ourselves, fine, go read. I'll go watch TV or I'll go, do something of my own. You have to know how to give your partner also and not get jealous and not get too clingy and giving them their personal space so that way they can be happy and relax and unwind. Like we woke up this morning, like you said, and I'm looking at you and I can just your aura was irritated for no reason. I don't know why. I don't want to know why. I mean, it's nothing. I know I didn't do anything, so I was like, oh, okay, she's irritated. I'm just going to go walk in another room and in 10 minutes she'll follow. She'll be fine. So learn how to read your partner's energy or how they're talking to you. Don't be like, oh,
don't be aggressive about.
Why are you irritated?
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you? What the fuck? Like, I didn't do anything. Sometimes it's not about you. It's just the person is just in a mood. I get in moods sometimes and I don't even know why I'm in a mood, but you have to understand Okay, I'm in a mood. I'm irritated. Why am I irritated? Okay, I don't know why I'm irritated. I just need 5 minutes to just kind of decompress, rewind, and get back to my normal way of feeling. You have to learn your partner's boundaries, the way your partner, and it's not easy. I mean, we've been together 7 years. Um, it's taken a lot of work, but it's not hard. It hasn't been hard.
Right. Well, I don't think it's been hard because we communicate effectively.
Right. When something is bothering you, speak up about it. Don't hold it in for 6 months and then explode.
Right.
Because when you hold it in, your partner doesn't know that it bothers you.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know.
And then the way you communicate it too. For example, Jet doesn't like to really clean up after herself sometimes. She's gotten better over the years.
Tell him what my nickname that you call me.
Khamkhume.
And what does that mean?
That means slob in Arabic. I don't mean it like she's an actual slob. It's just like a funny little joke that I have between me and her. But she doesn't like to clean up after herself. She'll leave her drink laying around. She'll leave shoes and socks. But she's gotten better over the years. She'll cook, make sandwiches, and leave the bread out or leave that. But she's gotten a lot better about it. It's just a pet peeve of mine. So if it irritates you, speak up. Be like, hey, please pick up after yourself. I don't work for you. You don't clean up after me. I expect the same thing back in return. But you have to do it in a respectful way. You can't just walk in the house and be like, hey, bitch, clean this shit up. That's a boundary. Like that's not something, that's not how you get someone to do, not to do what you want, but that's not how you get someone to understand how you're feeling.
Or to hold them accountable, because we've sat down and I'm like, hey, I know that I'm sloppy sometimes. I have like an organized chaos. Like my stuff is everywhere, but I know exactly where it's at any given moment. And you like to move my stuff.
I do.
Even if it's, in a sloppy manner. And if I can't find it, then I'll get really irritated. But again, that's me. And we've sat down and you were like, hey, babe, like we've got to make sure we hold each other accountable. And again, I think I'm probably 80% there.
No, you are. And again, it's not... It's the way you communicate with someone. If something's bothering you about them, you don't yell at them and tell them, hey, you're this and that and this and that. You have to learn how to communicate with them, because they're not going to respond. Like me, if you yell at me and you tell me I'm doing something wrong that you don't like, I'm going to do it 10 times harder if you talk to me like that.
Because you're petty.
Because I'm petty and I can be spiteful. And I know that about myself. So, and a lot of people are like that. So you want to make sure you do it in a way where, all right, you know what, even if you're let's just say this thing irritates you to the point where you get very upset about it. Okay, wait 10 minutes, wait half an hour, wait an hour.
Right.
Then go when you're calmed down finally and you're able to talk in a reasonable manner, then go and discuss it with your partner and say, hey, I don't like this. Can we work? And then it can be a compromise. It can be like, well, I'm sorry, but I like to do it this way. But let's find a common ground where we both can work and it'll make both of us happy.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here, because not everyone has a partner that is open to the constructive criticism. So is there anything that you would suggest that someone does if they're wanting to confront a partner about something that is bothering them, but their partner is never willing to open up and listen?
Couples therapy.
Okay, so let me throw this out there, because I was in a relationship where couples therapy, they stormed out because the therapist said something to them that they didn't like and they never went back. Do you feel that that's an end all be all, that someone should get out of that relationship if their partner is unwilling to negotiate or compromise or work on it?
Yes.
You do? 100%.
100%. Because if you've tried talking to them about how you feel and they've ignored it and they've stormed off, and you've taken them to couples therapy and they ignored it and stormed off, they don't truly care about how you feel. And if they don't care about how you feel and they feel like they're being attacked because they can't comprehend and understand that you're not happy in that relationship, no matter what you do, they'll never be able to see it. And you'll never be happy. You'll be dragged along in that relationship and you'll be the second wheel to their happiness, because they're never going to bend and you're never going to be happy.
Right.
And I know that's kind of a drastic measure, but sometimes, if you break up with someone and you tell them, hey, or break up, you say, hey, we need space because this isn't working. Maybe that will get the person to say, you know what, okay, I maybe I have been, I'm about to lose my spouse because I've pushed them away to the point where I haven't been listening to them.
I've crossed their boundaries
I've crossed that consistently.
continuously. Yeah.
Maybe that will wake them up and say, okay, you know what, maybe we should go, or maybe I will be more open to this. Because if they can't get to the point and appreciate you as a person and appreciate how you feel when you're telling someone how you feel, and they completely and always cross your boundaries and make you feel like you're underappreciated or you're not listened to or you're not good enough for them, then what's the point of staying in a what's the point of being in a relationship? Let me ask you that question. Why being in a relationship?
For me personally,
And generally.
I think the point of being in a relationship is to be able to, one, share your life with someone and to share a workload. Um, you know, as humans, we have to work to survive, and right now in the state of our economy, one person just can't do it. I'm not saying that I'm only with you because of money. We're with each other because we help each other grow.
Okay.
We help each other grow.
Perfect.
So I think talking this out now,
Perfect.
we're really establishing kind of that. But you've helped me grow as a person.
Right.
7 years ago, I was in a job where I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life. And 2 years ago, we started a business. And now here I am, an entrepreneur. I work for myself. I've gotten my real estate license. I've got my own travel agency now. I'm doing things that I absolutely love to do, but I was with a partner that would not allow me that growth.
Again, that's why I asked you this question. So, if that person is not willing to listen to you and listen to your boundaries, respect your boundaries, help you grow, by helping you grow, I mean emotionally.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So if you can't grow emotionally with that person and they're constantly going over your boundaries, then how are you going to get to the point where that in a relationship that you're going to grow together?
That's a good point.
So that goes back to my point again. If that person is not willing to learn and grow and respect your boundaries, and you're not willing to do the same for them too, how can you grow together in a healthy relationship and have a healthy relationship? That's why I was saying, if you can't, and that's what that goes back to, if the person is constantly crossing your boundaries, constantly putting you down, constantly doing these things to you, then you don't need to continue in that relationship. It's not a healthy relationship. Because the point of a relationship is, like you said, growing together, making each other better, lifting each other up. How can those three things happen if they're constantly passing your boundaries and constantly, going out, staying out late, constantly cheating on you, constantly belittling you in front of family and friends, making you feel little and not worthy? Why would you stay with someone like that if they're constantly doing that to you? Now, when you break up with that person, or you say you need space, maybe they'll see it, and maybe they'll say, okay, you know what, I messed up here. This person is amazing. This person is great. Maybe they won't.
Yeah.
Then that person's just not the person for you. Being single is not a bad thing. Being single and finding yourself and
finding what makes you happy.
That's what I did. I stayed single for a while. I mean, before I met you, probably 2 years?
Honestly, I think we were both checked out of our marriages, and we had went through a grieving process where we had felt single.
Right.
But we were really only single for almost a year from our marriages, and then when we met each other. But again, we didn't rush into anything. We
dated for 4 years before.
But you lived here and I lived here, and it was kind of a struggle because you wanted more of me that I couldn't give to you because I wasn't ready. You felt you were ready. And these were the boundaries that we had to kind of overcome when we were starting our relationship.
Right. And you felt like, and during when we were dating, at one point you broke up with me because you felt like
I couldn't give
me what I needed.
Right.
So I gave you the space. And then after like a month or so?
Yeah, about a month and a half-ish.
You came back and you realized, okay, like maybe this is something that I want to do. And I didn't really, I didn't hound you. I didn't bother you. I stayed away. And I gave you the space because I realized, if she doesn't want to give it to me and she wants to break up with me, then if she thinks that I'm worth it, she'll reach back out to me and she'll come back to me.
But that's the confidence, one, that you had in yourself.
Right.
You had the self-esteem there.
Because I had worked on myself and I knew what I brought to the table and I knew my self-worth. And if someone